No. You know what? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I am not enjoying this anymore. Why am I still being the Apptrepreneur? I'm tired of wearing this stupid thing. The news is, nothing's changing. Nothing is changing. I need something to happen. Something big, something to move the needle. Oh, my viewers are getting bored. I'm getting bored. And every single time I do this,
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I know, I want you.
I gotta make a video about this.
Oh boy, guys. It's been a while since I've been this excited to report a story on Uber because these scumbags have been getting off with way more than what they should have. You know, ever since they got the new CEO, it's been absolutely ridiculous. You know, he goes on an apology tour, we give them another chance. They don't do anything even remotely progressive. They don't pay their drivers better. They are not any more honest with their customers today than they were 4 years ago. They have not fixed their bro culture. They have not fixed the problems with the sexual harassment. They still have dangerous drivers on the road, as evidenced by my friend getting assaulted and women getting raped all the time, like really all the time in their cars. But finally, someone finally said no. And I'm surprised. Pleasantly so. After London let them back in their arms, Uber promised to make changes, have not actually done those changes, but they promised to make changes, and London's like, oh, well, you say you're better? Well, come on in. Well, someone finally said, no, frankly, we don't believe you. We don't believe your BS anymore. And that is the city of New York. Thank you, New Yorkers. I am so glad that I make it a point to go visit you guys every couple of years. And I'll see you in March when I'm just going out there doing stuff. Thank you so much for finally putting the foot down, being the first state really in America to really say, no, we're not going to put up with this. Seattle came close, but New York City, you guys beat them. So, well, the headline says it all. New York City just voted to cap Uber and Lyft vehicles. There. Now, I am going to temporarily forgive them for adding to this article, and that could make rides more expensive because really, who cares? Who cares? The rides are too damn cheap as it is. You know that those drivers are not getting paid well, so I don't care that the rides are more expensive. I don't care if it's going to make them more expensive. Let's just look at what's going on right now. So, New York City Council passed regulations on ride-hail companies such as Uber and Lyft on Wednesday, capping the number of vehicles on the road for 1 year and requiring that drivers be paid a minimum wage. Yeah, we're not even talking about living wage. We're just talking about minimum wage. Uber wasn't even paying the minimum wage. You know, there's this big debate going on in America right now that the minimum wage is actually far different from the living wage. Well, I'm not going to get into that right now. If you are a company who is employing primarily adults, and this is their main source of income. But we're not talking about McDonald's, where those jobs are for kids. We're talking about like a dangerous job where people's lives are in your hands, your own life's on the line, and you weren't even making the minimum wage. And the minimum wage is different from the living wage. So there you go. The year-long cap on new licenses for ride-hailing vehicles will take place while the Taxi and Limousine Commission studies the effects of ride-hail services in the city. The cap will not apply to new wheelchair-accessible vehicles or new vehicles serving an area demonstrating need in a way that does not increase congestion. Well, and of course it's not, because there's frankly not enough wheelchair accessible Uber vehicles. Now, I've had some different discussions. I don't think that needs to be a requirement if it's independent contractors, but basically they're not going to be putting any cap on those because they don't have enough anyway. They need way more. So there's no reason to cap those. App-based ride services account for 80,000 vehicles in New York City and provide 17 million rides per month, according to a study by the New School for the TLC. A surge in ridership has coincided with increased residents' frustration with the local subway system. Supporters of the cap have said the regulations will protect drivers, fairly regulate the industry, and reduce congestion. And I actually agree for that. And here, our quote, "Our city is directly confronting a crisis that is driving working New Yorkers into poverty and our streets into gridlock," New York Mayor Bill de Blasio said in a statement. The unchecked growth of app-based for-hire vehicle companies has demanded action, and now we have it. I'm ecstatic. I'm just so ecstatic that someone's finally regulating these sons of bitches. But opponents say the regulations could result in longer wait times and higher prices for ride-hail services. Oh no, God, you're not going to pay $3 to go a couple blocks. You're going to have to pay 10. Whoop-de-doo. The city's 12-month pause on new vehicle license will threaten one of the few reliable transportation options while doing nothing to fix the subways or ease congestion, Uber says statement. Oh, really? They're going to be getting their cars off the road? That might help with congestion. We take Council Speaker Corey Johnson at his words that the pause is not intended to reduce service for New Yorkers, and we trust that he will hold the TLC accountable, ensuring that no New Yorker is left stranded. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they really make... Oh, this company. Of course, it's about the customers. They're leaving the customers stranded. I mean, let us have our vehicles unchecked. Let us congest the streets. The bottom line is, if you don't let us do whatever we want, if you force us to pay our drivers more and to limit the cars, we cannot properly serve anymore. No, we need those cars to flood the streets with drivers who are making peanuts, or else the customers' lives are in jeopardy. Well, you know what? If that's the cost for making customers' lives a little bit more convenient, I say screw them. Just screw them. Indeed, Lyft's Vice President of Public Policy, Joseph Okpaku, said the cap could be harmful for communities underserved by yellow cabs. Quote, "These sweeping cuts to transportation will bring New Yorkers back to an era of struggling to get a ride, particularly for communities of color in the outer boroughs." Oh, yeah, sure. Well, let's play the race card. I mean, granted, I know that this is an actual thing, that, you know, people don't want to just go to those areas. They typically don't pay well. Sometimes the tips aren't as good, and they can be dangerous. I understand that, but you know what? Hey, that's life, I guess. I know that's going to be taken way out of context, but it's not meant to be it. But here's the thing, folks: we need to limit these cars. I mean, there are so many drivers out there that are driving so hard and making so little, and we need some form of regulation, and Uber and Lyft need to be held accountable. So you know what? We're just going to have to see if that plays out. Heck, maybe it won't even play out, because you know what? If they do it properly, then there will be cars in those areas. There just will be, if they, you know, because I'm sure if they approve a certain number of cars in each area, then those smaller communities will still have Ubers and Lyfts that can get rides. That's up to Uber and Lyft. If Uber and Lyft decide, hey, you know what? Those areas are too small for us to bother with, so we're going to just approve everyone in the big city, and those people in the smaller areas, they're just out of luck. Well, I guess that's Uber's fault. That's not the driver's fault. We will never stop working to ensure New Yorkers have access to reliable and affordable transportation every borough. Yeah, well, I think I just gave that advice on how you can ensure that doesn't happen. So, anyway, yeah, let's, you jerk. Now, I guess I'm going to have to now talk about my personal feelings about this, because some people are probably like, App. You got to be kidding. For years, you have said you don't want regulation. You were independent contractors. You prefer to be an independent contractor. Finally, someone regulates, and they regulate in a major way. This is going to have some major effects. We don't know what they're going to look like yet, but it's going to have major effects. The freedoms that you probably have right now, some of them are going to be taken away. And you're saying, and you're okay with this? I thought you were never okay with this. Guys, I've been tooting that horn for a long time, and I'm still mean it. I would love for Uber to not have to be regulated, and for minimum wage laws to not get involved, and for regulation to not need to be a thing. But you know what? I've been covering this company for a long time. This channel, at least 2 years alone. And I've been driving for them for about 3. There is a point when, you know what? The idea is like, I would like it to be this way. I would like it to be this way. And it is this way, but it's not working. It has not worked for a very, very long time. And that's why my channel got big, because I griped about things. I get all these comments like, get a real job. Why do you talk about this if you don't like it? And the reason I talk about it is not, one, I care, but 2, other people care. They came to this channel because they got so frustrated, and I was venting for them. And they're like, yes, that's exactly how it feels. This is exactly how it feels like. We do not like what is going on. And so, while I would have loved for this to have worked without regulation and without the government and getting involved and being able to be as free as I wanted, Uber made that impossible. I've seen what this company running unchecked for many years has actually accomplished. It has accomplished very, very little for the drivers. Now, true, the passengers do get a good deal. And Uber makes money. Well, they lose it, but they make it. You know what I'm saying? And the drivers get screwed. The drivers who built it. And yes, I am a driver. I was driving a couple days ago. First time in a long time I was, admittingly, but I was driving. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. And as you saw earlier, the channel kind of became a little bit of a burden because, you know what? It wasn't fun to report the news anymore. I wasn't seeing anything happen. I just saw more lies, and every time they made an announcement how they're going to improve things for the drivers, we've got a new app, we're listening. Dear God, we are listening to you, and yet nothing changes. Nothing changes. I still get emails from people saying that, hey, I can't afford to live. I'm sleeping in my car. I'm driving 70 hours a week. That's not right. That is not right. You know, if you want to do that on your own time, if you want to live that life, I can't argue that. I truly can't. But 95% of the people who email me, they are not okay with this, and neither am I. So it's not been as much fun. And to see the company basically march forward, just keep marching, keep running without any opposition or very, very little, and no one's taking him seriously. Like, the media gave him a pass for a long time, with the exception of the autonomous car vehicle thing. They were giving them a pass, like, hey, Uber's changing. They're actually apologizing, but they didn't change. If you want to see if they changed, look at the drivers. The drivers didn't notice any difference. So what is the regulation going to look like? I don't know. I frankly don't know. And I know a lot of people will be forced off the platform, and that's going to suck. That is going to suck. But you know what? I am hoping that the people who get left on the platform can have much better lives. They can live much better. They don't have to drive 70 hours. They can provide for themselves and the family. I'm hoping that that's what happens. And you know what? Hey, we've got an experiment. And if the experiment fails, we don't have to bring it across the states. But if it succeeds, if this succeeds and good things happen to the drivers and the drivers get better paid and the passengers still get a convenient service, then I consider that a win. I totally consider that a win. So bravo. Thank you, New York. Thank you for forcing the experiment. Now we can see what happens. with Uber and Lyft being regulated. And you know what? I bet you we're going to like some of the things. We won't like some of them as well. I'm not naive. There's certain things about this that, frankly, we're going to hate. We are going to hate them so much. But I bet you there are things about it that we are going to love, and we're going to go like, why didn't we want this sooner? So, what do you folks think? Do you like this? Are you dreading it? Are you full-time? Are you part-time? I know there's going to be a lot of people with very mixed feelings and very passionate feelings about this. So I really want you, please, let's treat each other with respect in the comments. But I do want to hear from you. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course. But even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.